You're back. You're alive. I'm back. I'm alive. Um, yeah, wow. What a wild couple of months I've had. Wild in a like bizarre kind of way, not like it's wild because nothing happened. Um, so I just wanted to, just for my own records, make this little video so that future me understands why there's a big gap in my reading record. Things got strange in the new year. Um, so where do I begin? I've been getting progressively sicker and sicker and sicker. The medication that is supposed to be managing my chronic illness, for whatever reason, not only doesn't work for me, it actually harms me and makes me sicker and sicker and sicker. Well, it's not supposed to do that. So, on March the 17th, we were told to go home from work and self isolate, to work from home. And yeah, I mean, that was sort of for us, or for me, the day the world changed. I think everybody has that day on their calendar, like, and this was the day the apocalypse came. Um, so the next day, the day after that, I went in to get my lab work done, because it was time, and I mean, I probably could have waited another week, but just who knew what was going to happen. So I just went in and got that lab work done, and it wasn't good. The doctor called immediately after and said, this lab work looks like you should be in a coma right now. And that's happened before. The first time, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, when I was finally diagnosed. I mean, I had been living like that for years by the time I was diagnosed. So I'm fierce. I'm tough. Like, I just do what's got to be done, I guess. I don't know. My body is definitely tough. It will take a beating. I would rather it not have to do that, though. So I am working very hard to try to manage this. But anyway, so I was on the brink of a coma, and then the pandemic broke out, basically, is what happened. And so that month, prior to that, getting those lab tests, I mean, I was just getting sicker and sicker and sicker. And unfortunately, part of that just is like, I mean, you just kind of, if you are going to survive something like that, you just section off a small section of your brain, and that part just tries to cope with immediate needs. Like, now you have to get out of bed. And no, of course you don't want to, because you've partitioned off that part of your brain from all the rest of the parts of your brain that are just saying, oh my God, life is terrible. Everything hurts. Nothing's working. Ah! And you just have partitioned that off. And so you only have a very small amount of brain space, and it's very hard. For one thing, you actually lose memory. Your short-term memory is basically wiped out, and believe it or not, that makes it very hard to read, because you read a page and then you've forgotten like what was happening a page before, and it's just really hard to focus as well, when you're like, everything hurts and I'm exhausted and I'm tired and nothing's working. And so yeah, so not much got read, to say the least. So that was during that month. I am going to do a video and post a video about the book that I read during that month. It was a very short book, and it's the only book I finished during that month. And then post-pandemic, so basically, he switched my medication, which has been just a godsend. I am finally starting to feel better. So we went into lockdown. I think it was a month ago yesterday. Was our first day of quarantine, and yeah, and I literally 2 days ago was the first day that I really put in a full day. I shouldn't say that. I should 2 weeks ago. I went out to get groceries, stopped for a hike, and then that hike laid me low for the next like 3 or 4 days again. So I'm trying to um, be conscientious about not overdoing it. Like, I am feeling quite a bit better, substantially better than I have felt probably in over a decade. Um, but I think that makes me not realize what my limitations actually are from just having been ill for so long. I'm not sure what the deal is, but in any case, so the last 2 days, I've been actually up and out of bed and not having to go back to bed to get a nap or to rest or do whatever. So that has been really good. It's been such a blessing for me, and I feel terrible because I know people out there are suffering so much, and for me, this has actually helped end my suffering because I finally have been afforded. First of all, I think because my doctor was so up in the air about what was going to happen with everything that was going on, he was finally willing to try the new medication just to try and keep me from actually slipping into a coma and ending up in the hospital during a time when they definitely do not need anyone else going to the hospital. So that in and of itself has been for me a miracle. And then just to have the opportunity to rest when I need to rest has been amazing. But yeah, you would think that would mean I got lots of reading done, but it does not. Like I said, I got that short book done during that month prior to the quarantine, and then I have another video that I'll do about the big long book, but I only finished one book over the course of those other 4 weeks. So yeah, this video was just kind of just a little reminder to myself about why there's that lapse and that lag, and the next video will be my first book review. I'm not expecting to have lots of reading done. I feel like I've kind of resigned myself over the course of the last week that even if they are easing some of the self-isolation measures for the summer, I will not be traveling this summer like I usually do. So that means that if I'm staying home, I will still have access to electricity and fun things like the internet. So if I have those things, I imagine I probably will not be reading nearly as much as I usually do. So I usually get the bulk of my annual reading is done over the summer when I don't have access to easy entertainment via my computer. So yeah. So I think my overall this year, my reading the amount of my reading will go down, but that's okay. Yeah. We live in interesting times for sure, and far worse things could happen. Definitely. So I hope that if you have stumbled across this in your own boredom, because I think a lot of us are pretty much, we're done and we've reached the end of the internet, and that's probably the only reason you would end up here. I hope you're staying safe. I hope that you are washing your hands and remembering to socially distance yourself from others. I shouldn't say social distance. I should say physically distance yourself from others. Keep yourself and others safe and healthy. Be well, and we'll make it through this. Till then, happy reading.